Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Dave Brown here with the first video in a series of jam session calls. These are tunes that, I don't know, maybe if life existed again in the future, you would go to a jam session, and whether it's funk or blues, and people might call these tunes, and you should probably know them if you want to sit in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the head, we're going to go over rhythm, comping behind it, maybe even some licks. Should be a good time. And what better tune to start off with than the most cliche of all jam session calls, Cissy Strut. It's you know what, it's overplayed, but there's a reason why it's overplayed, and it's just one chord. Everybody can hang. It's a good groove. So yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. All right, first things first, we're going to start with the groove, basic second line feel. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to hold this C9, so let's just talk about the voicing. You're going to take your middle finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret, first finger is going on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and then ring finger is going to be barring strings 1, 2, and 3. So it might be actually easier to start with the bar first, apply your first finger on that 4th string, and then middle finger. The important thing is that you get a good arch on that middle finger, so it's not the sus4 kind of a thing, dominant 9. You know, but if you know any, you know, you can use a regular old bar chord and then take your pinky off, even add your pinky up top. You can use any voicing you want, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to stick with this C9. Okay, so the basic option is going to go 1, and so you got down, up, down, 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 okay, so you're going again, it's 1, and 2, and 3, okay, and 4, and 3. So groove number 2 is exactly the same, but we're just going to add some scrapes in it to make it a little more busier. So essentially, again, if you look at all the actual places you actually play the chords, that's exactly the same as groove number 1. But we'll be adding some scrapes in between. So it's going to go down, down on a scrape, so, and then we're going to go up on a scrape, and then down on the chord. So the first half is, okay, so anytime you're seeing those rests in between, those 16th note rests, your right hand's going non-stop. Okay, so don't get caught up on like, was it a downstroke? If you can kind of keep this non-stop pendulum going, it should fall exactly into place on which stroke you should be using at any given moment. So it's going to go down, skip. So notice I skipped that up. So really it's, you know, non-stop, but that's, you're following. Okay. And then, so you're skipping another down so that you can do an up on a scrape and then down on the chord. So you got, then you got down up with a scrape, and then 2 downs on the chord, just like we did before, and then we'll add 2 more scrapes at the end. So you got, groove number 3 is going to basically be groove number 2, but it's going to be a little busier falling into beat 4. So it starts off exactly the same, and it's going to go. Okay, so if beat 3 is going to start with 2 scrapes like it did before, but then you're going to go 2 chords instead of just 1. So 3, E, and 4, and then there's a little more scrapes after. So you got. Groove 4 is going to emphasize beat 4 slightly different. So it's going to get much busier, and you can mix and match these as well. But yeah, this one's going to start off the same again as 2 and 3. So then you're going to go, so you're going to emphasize the downbeat of 4. So I'm sorry, so it's 3 E and a 4 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, so you got. All right, let's put these grooves against a backing track, and I'm play them each 4 times so we can kind of settle into them. You can kind of hear the difference. But later, feel free to mix and match at will because it's fun. Here we go. All right, now let's check out the head. It's basically a C minor pentatonic the whole time. It's going to go back and forth between an A section and a B section. So let's check out the A section. The A section is going to start on the 3rd string, 5th fret with a ring finger, and go down to the 3rd fret on the 3rd string. Okay. Then we're going to go to the 5th fret on the 4th string before we go down to the 1st fret on the 4th string. So you got, and notice I gave that one a little tweak. That's going to resolve to the 3rd fret on the 5th string. So you got, and you can keep it nice and short like that, kind of pick up those notes by kind of muting with the left hand. Almost borderline ghost notes. This note right here can also be played here, so if you wanted to play it in position, you could go ring, index, ring, and then pinky on the 6th fret of the 5th string, and then right there. Or, now at this point, you're going to go roll over to the 3rd fret on the 6th string, then you're going to play the 1st fret on the 5th string, and just hop back and forth between 1 and 3 with your ring finger. So you got, one more time. Okay, and then at this point, you're going to hop up, you're going to do some triads. You're going to bar the 6th fret on the 1st and 2nd string. Middle finger is going to grab that 7th fret on the 3rd string. This is essentially an E shape for a B flat chord. Then you're going to go back 1 fret and you're going to make a D shape. So first and middle finger on the 5th fret on the 3rd and the 1st string. And B, C. Ring finger is going to go in between on the 2nd string. So essentially this is an F chord with a C shape. Or a D shape, however you want to think of it. And yeah, so you're going to go down, up, and then up, up on the F. Or the D shape. So in total you got down, up, up, up. So, you know, you can get a little funkier with it. You can throw some scrapes in there, but that's the general idea for the A section. Part B, the B section, is going to hop up into this classic pentatonic position. Now you could play it down here too. So either way, it's pretty straightforward. But we're going to play it up here at the 10th fret on both the 4th and 5th string. So you got, so you're just rocking back and forth between those. 4th string, 5th string. Then you're playing the 8th fret on the 4th string. Then it's going to go 10, 10 on the 5th string, 10 on the 4th string, 8th fret on the 4th string, 10 on the 5th string, 8 on the 6th string. So you got, and you know, sometimes you let that ring, sometimes you mute it. The 3rd measure is basically the 1st measure, but slight different. People will play it slightly different. Or maybe that's just me because I've learned it so long ago that I kind of make it my own at times. But that's the idea. You do that twice. So essentially both the A section and the B section are 2 bars each, times 4. But the way I have the B section right now, it's 4 bars, so it's times 2, 4 times 2 versus 2 times 4, both 8. If you wanted to play that down here, it would just be 5 and 3. So then we go 5, 3, 5, 1. And you can pull off that note at the end. So, or. All right, so now that we've taken on both the A section and the B section, let's put it against the track so we can hear how it sounds. Now, this is a generic kind of second line thing. It's not technically a Cissy Strut backing track that I made. So it's a little more, I'm sure there's some better backing tracks out there on the internet. There's some hits like da, 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 da. You know, a lot of the people will want hits there, or the, so that's not really going to fit into the groove, but it'll get the job done. So let's check it out. All right, and if you wanted to, you can also play that A section up the octave in this classic pentatonic position. So if we were to start at the 8th fret on the first string, you would go down the scale basically. 11 is going to pull off to 8 on the second string with your pinky to index. Then you're going to play the 8th fret with your first finger and bend it slightly sharp on the third string and resolve it to the root on the 10th fret of the fourth string. So that goes. Then you just roll over. 10th fret on the 5th string, and dance back and forth between 8 and 10. Then you can play these chords where we had them before, or you can play them here on the same. They're on strings 2, 3, and 4 in the same position. So they're exactly the same. They sound a little different because of the timbre of the strings, but they're exactly the same. So you got the 10th fret barred on 2, 3, and 4, and then you can place your ring finger on the 12th fret of the 4th string and your middle finger on the 11th fret of the 2nd string. Okay. And if you wanted to, you can even bend into the phrase. Definitely something I stole from Schofield. All right, so let's check out these licks. Here is lick number 1. They're all going to be based out of this classic pentatonic position, thinking minor pentatonic, but also with major notes in it. So you want to think major third here. Essentially kind of a Mixolydian feel. Yeah, so you're going to start off outlining this E shape right here for the C with your 10th fret on the 4th string with your ring finger. Now, up above these licks, I have the scale degrees because I think it's important to know what the scale degrees are so that if you know the other positions, you can translate this vocabulary anywhere and apply it to different songs. Totally worth it if you can figure it out. So this 10th fret is going to start here. Then you're going to hop back so you can slide back into the position 8 into 9 with your middle finger. Then it's going to go 8, 10 on the second string. So you got 1, 2, 3. Then there's going to be a quick little break, so you want to mute it. I tend to kind of touch the second string with my index finger. Then you're going to bend that note up sharp, the 10th fret. I like to give it some vibrato, so you got. Then you're going to start back to neutral on 10, and then bend it slightly sharp, and then back, and then pull off to 8. And then you're going to stretch your ring finger up to 11 and bend it in a whole step into the root. So you got. Let's hear it against the track. All right, so let's check out lick number 2. Lick number 2 is going to start on the 10th fret of the first string, so you're going to bend that slightly sharp, then play it normal. So that's the second scale degree, going down to the root there. And then you're going to play the 10th fret on the second string with your ring. That's a 6th scale degree, and that's going to resolve back to the 1. So you got. Then you're going to stretch up to the flat 3 or the 11th fret, and you're going to bend it sharp. And by sharp, I mean you're going to bend it a whole step. Okay, so trying to reach that 13th fret. And then you're going to release it, but not as you bring it back down. You don't want that. You want to bend it up, mute it, and then bend it up just a half step to get that major third. So you got. Okay, one more time. Let's hear it against the track. Lick number 3 is going to be straight minor pentatonic for the most part, and it's going to be, its whole shtick is kind of playing with the rhythm a little bit. So you're going to be starting on the 10th fret of the 4th string. You're going to bend that note slightly sharp on the 8th fret of the 3rd string. Then you're going to play the 10th fret on the 3rd string. So 1, flat 3, 4, right up the minor pentatonic. Then you're going to bend that 4 slightly sharp into the blue note. Okay, then you're going to go to the 8th fret after that and bend that slightly sharp. So you got. And so that 10 you're bending a little farther than the other notes. The other ones are kind of just like little tweaks, or is this? So anyway, so you're gonna go. That's gonna resolve to 10 on the 4th string, and then finally 8 right before it's all done. So you got 3, 4. So notice I like to drag the 8th fret down towards the ground versus the 10th fret I bend up with my ring finger. So let's hear it against the track. And for lick number 4, our final lick, we're going to be going back up to the 11th fret on the 1st string. Get that tritone going right off the bat. So that's, I like to play that with my ring finger and then play the 10th fret on the 2nd string with my middle. Now this is going to move fast. We're going to need to do rest strokes. So those of you who are not familiar with rest strokes, you want to make sure that the pick kind of flops through and is physically stopped by the string above it. So you're going to play 8th fret on the 1st string with a downstroke. Then you're going to play an upstroke on 10 with a rest stroke. So your pick should already, before you even worry about the pull, your pick should already be touching that 3rd string. So you got, so again, pick through, pull off to 8, and then through 8. Okay. Then you're going to play that same kind of concept. You're going to go 8, 10, pull to 8 on the 4th string. But now it's a little awkward because you're going to have to jump to the 6th fret. So on the 5th string there. So you got, so those are fast. So that rest stroke is really going to make the difference. Let's put it against the track. All right, guys, hope you dug the lesson, and hopefully life can get back to normal at some point so that you can actually apply this knowledge at a jam session with actual human beings in real life at some point. But until then, have fun. We'll see you.